Okay. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. Thank you so much for joining me today. We're going to be talking about serenity and peace of mind and how we can greater invite it into our lives. I'm going to be sharing some self-care tools to help invite in serenity and peace of mind. But I also want to open it up to you all as well, because I really, really believe that peace of mind and serenity comes from connection. So as we move through these self-care tools, I'll open it up to you as well to see how you feel. So I'm going to start with a story that just happened, but maybe, oh, admit, maybe it just happened. Oh, golly, an hour ago. Okay. I was walking home. And for those of you who know me, you know that I do not drive. I have never owned a car. I do have a license, but I've never driven. I've always walked everywhere. I was brought up in a city and lived in another city most of my life, but now I'm kind of out on the farm and I still walk everywhere. And it's really been a blessing. It's been a blessing, especially because I've moved further away. So it means if I want to get downtown, uh, it takes like 45 minutes to an hour to get somewhere, to get my groceries. But what that means is I get to call friends and colleagues. I get to call people I don't know that maybe have a question. I get to call people I know and love. It's this really sweet, sweet time. And so I'm really, really grateful for it. I bring this up because it does have to do with serenity. Today, I called a friend and she's going through something right now. And at one point, there was a moment where she was like, oh, I just don't know what to say. She started to cry. And I said, that's cool. I'll just be here and we'll pretend like you're here. And we're like walking together and you don't have to say anything. We could just say nothing and walk along together. And she goes, okay. And then she goes, and I'm gonna lie down. I go, okay. And there was something about it, and it lasted quite a while. Us just on the phone there in silence and her lying down. And at some point, kind of just sending out a prayer, right? Giving it up because the problem was so huge. It felt so huge. And whenever I'm in like the right place at the right time, for some reason, there'll be like a gust of wind that just kind of like almost smacks me over. It's almost to say like, you're in the right place at the right time, or this is a piece of the puzzle. And for me today, it just felt like that. It felt like this is a piece of the puzzle. This is a piece to the puzzle of how to have greater peace of mind in my life. And what that means for me is it means connection. It means reaching out. It means listening. It means not saying anything sometimes, but just being there for a friend or a stranger or a family member or a client or whoever. So this was my little awakening this morning. And I wanted to, just as we begin today, I thought we would start with what do you think? What comes to mind now for when you have felt serenity, right? I felt serenity about an hour ago on that phone call. When in your life have you felt serenity and what brought it on? And you can go ahead and just unmute yourself and share if you feel comfortable. It is being recorded. So if you don't want your face to be shown, you could certainly change to your name, but I like to see your face. So just take a moment to think. No rush.
Chantel, probably the most times I feel the most serenity is when I'm outside. So I can see why walking and being present for your friends is a good place for you, because to me, being outside And probably for 25 years, I've been walking every day, unless it's icy outside. And people go, even in the winter? I go, yeah, as long as it's not icy and I'm not going to hurt myself. I don't care if it's raining. I mean, it doesn't bother me. It doesn't bother me if it's snowing or if it's, 10 below or whatever. But that's where I get the most when I'm outdoors.
I love that. Amy said something really similar as you were saying, the outdoors, she wrote, when I'm hiking in the mountains or in nature. Yeah, it's amazing how something from the outside that possesses, I think of mountains and streams and all this kind of stuff and deer and all the things that are of and around us in nature possess great serenity. So it's like, of course, just by being in it, we get like infused. Awesome. Anybody else? And you could write it in the chat too, and I could read it if you don't want to talk.
I'm going to be really selfish and say, when I'm home, I'm surrounded by nature, country, and I just feel swaddled at home. So entirely selfish. It's just the way it is.
I love it. Yeah, it's not selfish. Well, it could be whatever it is. I think that's delicious. Yeah, I like that you use the word swaddled.
I have trees, I've got nature. The bits that invade my home is the fox, the sheep. I've got nature on my doorstep, so it's nice having one door open and the window open and the breeze coming through. It's lovely. I'm very fortunate, and I appreciate how fortunate I am.
That sounds so amazing. Let's go to Scotland. Let's go.
You would love the view outside. You can see the Isle of Arran, which is on the coast, and you've got hills rolling in the middle. It's beautiful.
Oh, thank you so much. Even just hearing you talk about it is like, thank you so much. Yeah, I think home is a really important one. I'm really glad you said that, because we have this idea. There's something I'm going to read to you all at the end. This idea that we have to seek outside of ourselves to find serenity, like that in some way, peace of mind or serenity could be bought, or peace of mind or serenity could be like achieved or gotten, or like, I think of that. I feel like not anymore, but I certainly said it in my youth a lot, that if I just had X, I would feel better. If I just had more money, if I just lost a little weight, if I just, it's like, so my serenity was, I thought my peace of mind was dependent on me getting something, or like if I could be fitter, if I could be smaller, if I could be happier, if I could be more popular, if I, all those things. And the irony, right, is like we get through life, and if we don't get those things, it's a blessing. It's actually a blessing to never have lost, been able to lose that weight, because it means I get to be with myself differently. I get to be with myself and accept exactly as I am, and then realize, oh yeah, the peace of mind is not anything I can get out there. It's inside. And I get to kind of be at home with myself. Yeah. Thank you for saying that. That brings up a lot. I like that very, very much. All right. So another thing, I'll just bring up a couple other possibilities of kind of what also brings peace of mind before we go into our first self-care tool. And that is rest or lying down when I need to, right? The idea of like, I'm tired, and not forcing anything, not pushing through, not another cup of coffee, but actually like, I'm really tired. The body wants to rest, and resting. For me, this has that honoring of self is another part of the puzzle of peace of mind. listening to myself, listening to my intuition and following it, taking a nap if need be. Certainly breath, just breathing, pausing, right? And any kind of moment where there's, quickened a heartbeat or something needs to happen, or I better say something, to just pause and take a breath. That invites in peace of mind for me. Noticing what's happening around me, certainly. I think I brought it up in a class the other day about the deer I was seeing right outside my window. It just shocked me into the moment. Being present, not just with so-called nature, but like public space, being around others, like in moments, it could be a shopping mall, I suppose. It could be anywhere, in traffic, being aware of what is, with and acknowledging that there's another way to be with it, right there. And we can either possess great curiosity in moments, or we can be angry, right? There's a choice there. So this also for me possesses the pause, letting go, right? Humbly being aware of that things are exactly right. I don't need to change anything. This is the quote I'll read later, right? Nothing in my exterior environment needs to shift. It's exactly as it's supposed to be. And then also for me, I would say, pulling cards. Like I love to pull a card. I've totally turned my kitchen station here. I live in a very small, tiny home, a literal tiny home, and my little kitchen counter, because it's so important for me to find peace of mind right now. I'm on a mission to find it. So I've turned my countertop, where I would usually cut vegetables, into like a little altar space where I get to like light a little sage, or pull a card, or read a book in the morning, this sort of thing. So my feeling is like, do whatever it takes. If there's something, in this case, our topic today, peace of mind, if you want it bad enough, do whatever it takes to invite it in. And that's what I'm doing. And then meditation, prayer, right? Whatever that means for you. And it means something different to all of us, and it doesn't have to mean the same thing. So that too, I feel, is part of the puzzle. So unless somebody would like to add to that list, we can dive into our first meditation. Anything else that come to mind that you want to add to that list? Yeah. All right, groovy. Let's go into our first meditation. So, or our first self-care tool. It's a meditation. If you've definitely done it before. It's our 5-element meditation. I've taught this meditation quite a bit. It's one of my favorite meditations, because it brings me the most peace of mind. The chakra meditation that I do as well makes me very calm, but this one somehow, and perhaps because we are balancing the left and right brain when we do it, it brings me the most calm. So we're going to do it today. So you're going to bring your hands into prayer. In Reiki, we call it gasho. In mudras, we call this anjali, right? So it's right there at your heart. You could pull it a little away so you don't have any tension in your arms. And all you have to do is lower your gaze or close your eyes and just breathe. And I'm going to talk you through kind of what to put attention on, and that's it. So there's nowhere to go, nobody to be, nothing to do. And just begin to breathe. And you can breathe in through your nose and out your mouth if that's comfortable for you. And be sure to really enter your back body, right? So you're not reaching forward or trying too hard. It's very relaxed. Your jaw is relaxed. Your neck is relaxed. Your shoulders are down. And now we're just going to allow our focus to shift inside. So I want your attention on your left hand, your left palm. This is the female aspect. This is the side of us that is nurturing and intuitive and gentle, soft, creative. This is the right brain. So the right brain governing the left side of the body and the left hand. And now feeling the heat present in that left hand. And taking a breath, shift your thoughts to the other hand, the right side of the body, the right palm. This is the left brain and the masculine element. The masculine element is more analytical, more organized, more determined. This is another part of ourselves. I'm feeling the heat in the right palm. And acknowledging that there's an integration of the two just by virtue of these two hands touching. We marry the left and the right sides of the brain, the feminine and masculine elements, and bringing them together. And with your breath, continue to let your body fall into more of a relaxed state, the jaw even more relaxed, the neck even more relaxed, the shoulders down, the hips open. And now we will focus on each finger. We'll begin with the pinkies and then go all the way to the thumbs. So we will feel a light pressure. You'll actually have a light pressure between both the pinkies, for instance. And we begin there. As you have a light pressure, pinky to pinky, be aware that this pinky represents earth. This is one of the elements, according to Japanese esoteric Buddhism. This is strength and stability. And as you lightly press on those fingertips, you're igniting that within yourself, acknowledging the stability and strength within you. And now releasing that and having light pressure between your ring fingers, just on the pads. This is the water element representing flow, right? Flexibility, emotion, receptivity. And breathing into that reality that too is part of you. And releasing that. And now a light pressure between the fingers, the finger pads of the middle finger. Those together represent fire, aggression, stating what you feel with purpose. Releasing that. And now the pads of your pointer fingers press lightly together, representing air, This is wisdom and love. And finally, releasing that, and the two thumbprints or the sides of the thumbs lightly coming together, representing creativity. This is the element of the ether. And finally, releasing that and allowing all the fingertips to have light pressure against each other, uniting all that which is within. The stability, the strength, the hope, the emotion, the receptivity, the ability to speak your mind, possess wisdom and love and great creativity, and having those all ignited and united. And continuing to breathe. And really feeling the integration of that right and the left side, the feminine and the masculine elements and energies, different parts of self. And be aware if there's any part of your body that starts to tense, or if a thought comes to mind. And taking another breath and releasing that pressure if you still have any between the fingertips. And you'll use your hands, rubbing them together first. And then brushing off. You can slowly open your eyes when you're ready. Brushing off your arms, your face, your head, your hair, your chest, your legs, just to kind of reset and let that go. And then with your hands in your lap, just take 3 more breaths before coming back. And slowly open your eyes if you haven't already. In our class yesterday, Jan, we did the Jinsen Jitsu, right? We did the finger holds. And I think I brought up in class yesterday, in the holistic cancer class, that there are crossovers depending on which philosophy or which culture you're looking at. And there's some differences too, but there's actually quite a few with these. The pointer finger, right, represents fear in Jinsen Jitsu, when we were talking about that yesterday. And today in the Japanese esoteric Buddhism, right, it's representing love. Many say love is the opposite of fear. So this idea of igniting love helps to diminish the fear within. Middle finger often to many is, aggression or anger or resentment, that sort of thing, or ability to speak too. There's a strength in being able to speak one's anger aloud in a healthy way, right? There's a picture of Johnny Cash that I saw yesterday playing his guitar. It's probably a pretty popular shot if you do know Johnny Cash, or he's given the finger with all his passion and his, on the stage in this Johnny Cash way. How was that for you? Was that relaxing? Did it feel good? I like it. Thumbs up. Yeah. Jan, I also am always, oh, the sun is moving. It's nice for me when I do meditations again and again and again and again in different ways with different people. It always brings up different things for me. Also, like, I encourage you to do this on your own. You don't even have to remember, just use your imagination and your intuition, right? Or maybe even just the idea of playing with the sensation of that light touch between the two pinkies. You don't have to remember what the pinkies represent. All right. You could just allow your mind to kind of dance between the two and breathe, like simple, simple. So that's one self-care tool. Another one I wanted to bring up is something, I don't know if you all know him. His name is Robert Moss. He does a lot of dream classes. I've taken a class of his before. That's how I was introduced to him. He's a dream master. He's also an author. Is he from Australia? I think he is. There's a book called Sidewalk Oracles. Oh my goodness, I had to take it off the shelf to share it with you today. The reason why I bring it up in our class today is because there's something just so playful about the way he writes. This book, it's called Sidewalk Oracles, playing with signs, symbols, and synchronicity in everyday life. It's just like all these stories and exercises you can do to just play in life. They're like games. It's so fun. He's very playful. If you've ever taken his classes, or if you haven't, I encourage you to just look him up, Robert Moss. He has two things that I do on the regular. One is called Kairomancy. The other one is called Bibliomancy. Kairomancy is when you have something in mind and you align yourself with the synchronicity. So for instance, I wake up in the morning, I have a question about my day, and I go out and I open myself to the possibility that I'm going to receive it in some way. A stranger on the street's going to say something, a bird will whisk by, there'll be another thought that comes in, or I do it before bed and maybe a dream tells me the answer. So this is an example of Kairomancy. And Bibliomancy, like bibliotech or, Biblio, is when you just have a thought, have an idea, have a question, and you go to your bookshelf and you pick off a book and you just open any page and you read whatever comes first that you see. So I bring you those today because I think they're very playful ways for us to invite in peace of mind. Oftentimes, the restlessness, the obsession, the mind going and going and going on a topic that we want to resolve and fix, or the person that this, that, and the other, it's so intense that just to be able to and maybe a meditation's just not in the cards today, right? It's like, oh, I just can't. There's this thing in my mind. So maybe a little bit of play, right? Just like pulling a card, a little divination. Just have a question and then go for a walk and see what comes in, or go to your bookshelf, pick any book, whatever one you're feeling off the shelf, and see what it has to say. Perhaps it has a little answer for you. And then we're going to do some mudras. We're going to do 2 mudras today. So the first one, and we'll hold them for just a minute or 2 each, but certainly you can hold them for longer. Anybody who's taken my classes know mudras are like, they have an incredible therapeutic effect, and can be used as such, especially when the longer you hold them. But we'll do them for just a couple minutes today. So the first one, there's something called a Gyan Mudra, Gyan. And this mudra, it's this position. We do it all the time in different ways, right? And there are variations of the Gyan Mudra. It's the one definitely you see most. If you're a practitioner, so oftentimes, especially those of you who are reflexologists, someone will be on the table, and if they're just like, oh my God, I need to relax, you'll see them do this. Everybody's so hip to this these days, right? Maybe they read about it, they saw it somewhere. It's just, they know that in some way this might help. And it's so powerful. And again, here we are talking about fingers and the finger meditation, bringing these two together. It's known as it's almost like a total these are called like the total wisdom. Like if we were to put it in English, it'd be like the total wisdom mudra. And we do it a little differently. We use both hands. We've done this one before, but we put them in two different places. We place one at the heart with a palm facing out, and we put the other one, my left hand, is going to be face up on my knee. So I'm like this. This one is palm out at my heart, and this one is face up on my left knee. So go ahead and you could close your eyes. I'll time it. We'll just be here for a minute. This mudra is all about bringing greater peace and calm and serenity into your mind and body. So go ahead and just close your eyes or lower your gaze. And just be aware of any sensations that come in. How does it feel at your heart? How does it feel being upturned on your leg? And I'll be quiet. And take a breath and open your eyes slowly. And now we're going to move into another variation of a Gyan Mudra, where we take both of those, just fingertips touching. So it's not holding a finger, it's just tips. And we're going to go into the fearlessness mudra. Literally means without fear, Abhaya. And we bring it into both sides, right near our shoulders. It's very, very protective too. If ever you're feeling afraid, all right, you could almost like, or, you know, someone that sees a scary movie or has a bad dream, it's almost like coming into this state. It brings incredible protection around you and courage within, and also peace of mind. So I'll be quiet for a few minutes and just feel how this feels differently. Just that little change, same position in the hands, but it's different now as it is both palms facing out. Also very good for anything ever related to tissues, cells, ligaments, joints, any ailments there. And take a last breath and slowly open your eyes. In learning this mudra, one of my teachers shared that yogis who do this in nature, it has been said that in this position, they're also cross-legged, maybe. I'm not a cross-legger. Cross-legged in nature, that animals and insects wouldn't bother them. I don't know if you want to try that, Sheila. You mentioned foxes. I don't know. But it creates a very strong electromagnetic field, protective shield around the body when doing this. So I just find that really interesting that that's been the case. How do you feel? How did those feel for you? Those two mudras? Thumbs up. Thumbs up. I love it. She's like, it's 10. We're going to end class in about 2 minutes and you're going to go to sleep. All right. So I also wanted to just bring up one more thing and then I want to end reading you something. Oh, what does it say? Dun, dun, dun. Oh, it's absolutely fine. I love that. Amy says, yeah, totally. I love that. I love it. It's good to have you here. Yes. Okay. So before I just read this last thing and we close today, I wanted to also leave you with the idea of creating rituals. Remember how I said like there's a little altar where I should be cutting vegetables? It's like whatever you need to do to invite in peace of mind. And sometimes we have to be more radical than other times. There are times in my life when I wouldn't have needed to do that. It'd be just fine to use a countertop to cut some vegetables. But right now I'm going through a period in my life where I need that. So I really want to say aloud, like, let us honor, whatever it is that we need. If we're going through a tough time, good. It just means that we need a little bit more help. It means we need to maybe call more friends or share more or listen more. It means we might need to turn our kitchen into an altar. It means whatever it means. And so I invite you to be present with yourself and what you're needing at any moment, because every day is different. The sage and Palo Santo, I love lighting that. That always helps me feel very grounded, right? So those sorts of things. And then I'm going to read you something before we close. So it's very wise. It's a very wise excerpt from something that was written in the big book of Alcoholics Anonymous. You do not have to be in Alcoholics Anonymous. I don't have to be in Alcoholics Anonymous to be able to appreciate this. So I'm going to read it to you now. You also don't have to be religious. You don't have to be an addict. I think in order for this to resonate, this really resonates for me. So I'm going to read it to you now. It's on acceptance. And for me, acceptance is a huge part of peace of mind. So this is how it goes. And acceptance is the answer to all my problems today. When I am disturbed, it is because I find some person, place, or situation, some fact of my life, unacceptable to me, and I can find no serenity until I accept that person, place, thing, or situation as being exactly the way it's supposed to be at this moment. Nothing, absolutely nothing, happens in God's world by mistake. I cannot be happy unless I accept life on life's terms. I need to concentrate not so much on what needs to be changed in the world as on what needs to be changed in me and my attitudes. So that's what I wanted to leave you with today. I think I kind of switched a sentence there, but you get the idea. Isn't that sweet? Isn't that good? Very wise person wrote that. I think it's in one of the stories or something. Anyway, any questions, illuminations, anything you want to say before we close today and go into our days and nights? Do you feel more relaxed? Oh, Jan, I see you talking, but I don't hear you.
No?
Oh,
It's
there you are.
Altars can be anywhere. You can put it on a bookshelf, wherever you have space. I learned that from like Sarah Bernard, I think a long time ago, that, she said that the rituals, you have to get up 10 minutes before your family to do your rituals. So whatever time they get up, you just start. And I've been doing that, I don't know, a long time now. And if I have to go someplace, what time do I have to be ready? And then I backtrack what I do in my morning routine.
I love that.
She got really, yeah.
I love that. I'll post the video on the page and maybe just put her name down there, so yeah, that's beautiful. I love that. And then Sheila, you said you're not Palo Santo. What were you saying, Sheila?
I'm not keen on the smell of that at all.
It is a very specific smell.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not too keen on sage, but I light it anyway. Yeah, it's amazing. Yeah, we definitely have to find the things that resonate and feel. I think also there's something to be said about that. When something doesn't smell good to us, I think we're not supposed to use it.
Yeah, I think it's a seagrass that I actually quite like. So I
Oh,
usually tend to put that and get the incense from that. So it's nice.
yay. Ah, well, thank you for joining me today. Have a wonderful sleep and a wonderful day. And for those who couldn't be here, I'll post this on our page. Have a good day, night. Bye.
Thank you. You also have a good afternoon.
Thank you.